Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Del Norte County Local Transportation Commission meeting this day, November 6th, 2018. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Start with a roll, please.
Commissioner Fallman?
Here.
Commissioner Hemmingson?
Here.
Commissioner Kine?
Here.
Policy Advisor Tucker?
Here.
Commissioner Short?
Here.
Chair Howard?
Present. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open it up for public comment. Anyone wishing to make public comment regarding matters either on or off the agenda and within the Commission's jurisdictions may do so at this time. However, the Commission is not permitted to act on non-agendized items. Please, good afternoon. Go ahead and pull them up.
Hi.
Perfect.
All right. So I thought I'd read you this little exciting excerpt from Cascadia's Fault. And I feel that the harbor has been kind of put into a corner of thinking that they had to build this evacuation center in probably the most dangerous place that one could be built because there wasn't an alternative, such as a wonderful trail that could save their lives. So I'd just like to say how needed the tsunami evacuation trail is in the harbor. Here, this is at the when the earthquake hit in Japan. The town's mayor and more than 130 public officials escaped from City Hall to the Disaster Management Center, a solidly built steel frame structure, 3 stories tall, with a vertical evacuation shelter on the roof. Only 30 made it to the top. Even there, they were not safe. A 25-year-old Nikki Ando, an employee of Crisis Management Department, continued broadcasting emergency information via the city's extensive network loudspeakers. She never left her post, and she repeatedly urged her fellow citizens to head for higher ground and save many lives. A time-stamped photo taken from the top of the building, discovered days later, showed that the Disaster Management Center, I mean, this was a building built as good as it could be built because it was the Disaster Management Center, fully engulfed by 3:35 p.m., 48 minutes after the earthquake had started. Of the 30 people who made it to the roof, only 11 survived, several of them clinging for life to a radio antenna as the ocean torrent, a wall of debris, filled seawater 52 feet high, thundered past. An aftermath photo taken weeks later by geologist Lori Dengler of Humboldt State University showed nothing left of the building but a gutted steel skeleton, clearly visible in the background behind this mangled red metal hulk. Behind that building are the green, tree-clad hills that could have saved more lives if only people had run a few minutes farther and higher. That's all. So I urge us to do something about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And since we're fresh off the airplane and yesterday was recognized by the United Nations as World Tsunami Preparedness Day and Awareness, I'd like to say thank you for sharing that and the emails that you've been sharing with us publicly. These type of things don't go unrecognized just because we're quiet sometimes. We're definitely going to probably look into this in more detail. I know for a fact there's a lot more that needs to be done. This is not the only solution. But in cases like this, it's important for us as policy advisors to direct staff to take another closer look. And this is something that we could probably consider doing is to direct staff to take a look at it and revisiting these ideas and bring it to the TAC and then back before the policy committee. But in light of World Tsunami Awareness Day yesterday, appreciate your comments, because we never know how tall that wall of water will be, as it was in 2004 in Thailand, which was over 100 feet tall. So I appreciate your comments. Thank you. All right, at this time, we're going to adjourn to the Policy Advisory Committee and move to our consent agenda. We're going to take up consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E.
Move to approve consent.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. It wouldn't work?
Oh, E is a discussion item.
Oh, sorry.
A, B, C,
Oh,
D.
yeah, E. But also, Chair Howard, we need to move item D to off the consent agenda, because I have an update for that after the posting
Very
of
good.
the agenda.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry, Jerry is probably briefed on all this, I imagine.
Okay. So I'll move to approve A, B, and C. Yes.
Second.
Thank you very much. Got a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back. Can you please pull the vote?
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Policy Advisor Tucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kine,
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson,
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and move on with item D then. Tamara?
The overall work program was recommended by the TAC and staff for adoption. However, after their recommendation and after the posting of the agenda, I realized that one of the work elements was underfunded by approximately $4,000. That's the Elk Valley Crossroad planning document. And we had, in the TAC meeting, we had evaluated, we had scored the proposals. The recommended proposal is slightly more than the budget in the overall work program. So I needed to make that adjustment after the tax recommendation. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. It's a comparatively minor adjustment, but we need to note it. The resolution, Chair Howard, that you have in front of you for signature is updated.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and open this item for public comment. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and bring it back.
Move for approval or for the staff's recommendation to adopt the resolution 201819 approving the 2018-19 overall work program amendment. 2.
Thank you. We have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, please pull the vote.
Policy Advisor Tucker,
Yes.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Short,
Yes.
Commissioner Kine,
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson,
Yes.
Chair Howard.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead with item number E, which is last chance grade, is one of the items for the discussion.
In the agenda packet, in the final pages is a Caltrans District 1 last chance grade fact sheet that has recently been updated. So I wanted to just share that with you, bring it to your attention that it's in there. That's for those of us, for all of you probably. There's nothing new or surprising in that update, but it is there. It's posted on the website. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention. I don't have anything additional concerning, well, we did have a project delivery team meeting, a full PDT meeting about a week ago for last chance grade, and the PDT is recommending to management that they move forward with the recommendations of the local committee, the stakeholders group. So that's sort of the proper order of things. The project delivery team gets recommendations from the stakeholders group. The stakeholders group brings it to management for a decision. And so those suggestions, recommendations by the stakeholder group are moving forward. And that's all that I have about last chance grade.
Jerry, do you have any other items to report out of North Deal if you've had a meeting since then? Okay, very good. And then, Tamara, on that particular item, I'd also like to say thank you for the discussions that you've brought to the attention of both the Board of Supervisors and City Council specific to activity around last chance grade and potential results that could happen with the propositions that are moving forward on this year. All right, let's go ahead and take up US Highway 199 intersection of the Elk Valley Crossroads.
We do have a planning document in our work program right now that considers all of Elk Valley Crossroad and including this intersection. So that document will be moving forward with help from the public. In this agenda, we approve the contract for that work. And we can certainly keep this on the agenda. I don't mind that this remains on the agenda. As we move through that work, I can give you updates as we move forward, but that's what we're doing right now on the 199 intersection is we have authorized the work and we're moving forward with a corridor plan for that entire length, even though it's a short length, the entire length of Elk Valley Crossroad.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions around that for Tamara? Okay. At this point in time, I'd like to move on with item 5, which is Commissioners' reports and comments. Let's start with Mr. Tucker.
Yes, I just wanted to give an update. Commissioner Howard asked a question about 199. There was a high friction surface treatment project last year, I believe, that installed high friction surface treatment at a number of locations. The location, let me just
10.8.
10.5,
Yeah.
So yeah, it covered a number of locations. The one in particular, there's a 10.41, post mile 10.41 to post mile 10.64, where high friction surface treatment was installed. Looking at the locations, it's mostly the corners sections along 199 from post mile 7 to 27. And also I just wanted to mention there's currently a project, I believe I've mentioned before, from post mile 10.2 to 10.7 that is currently scheduled to be advertised in January of 2020. So work is proceeding. Next is the design phase, and I'll share information as it becomes available.
Could you tell me the nature of that work?
So this is in direct response to the collision in that location. So it's a safety project that is looking at things like guardrail.
Okay. Got it.
To reduce collision.
Okay.
When was that, the high friction material put down? When was that done?
Yeah,
when was that completed?
I didn't have a date, but I believe it was before last winter, from what I recall. So it had been in place before the last winter season.
And so that last accident that happened on in that area, I think there was another accident that happened in that area. That was after that high friction material was put down. And was that in that range area of where that high friction material was put down?
Yeah, I can't speak to the specific location of the collision. Yeah, the information that's reported initially isn't necessarily always correct, and so I can't speak to the specific location of the collision, but there have been a number of locations that we've applied high friction surface treatment.
I think the collisions you might be talking about, Jerry, were around 11.5.
Yes, that
there was a series right near Hartsgravel Creek Bridge,
Yeah.
and I don't think that is one of the areas. But
well, there was one though.
There was one, yeah.
Car went down
there was.
Into the river.
Yeah.
There's one more.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
Just before, just after. That's why I was wondering.
It was 10.5.
So there is looking at the specific information from the project, there was high friction surface treatment applied from post mile 11.34 to 11.53. So I don't know if the two were in the same location, but it's possible.
Kevin, as long as you're talking, I don't know if you have the report. Did the commission receive the letter from David Morgan in response to the Smith River Community's outreach to Caltrans on the turn lane issues or lack of turn lane issues that we have, specifically from basically Fred Haith Drive north to the Oregon border? Has that letter been shared yet with the commission?
I did see a copy of the letter. I can't speak to whether it went to the full commission or if it just went to Commissioner Howard,
Okay.
but I can look into that.
Yeah, I believe it's something that we need to take maybe a longer look at, the response from Caltrans to the community's request to take some harder looks at particular problematic intersections along Highway 101, basically starting about Fred Haith Drive, moving north on Highway 101 up to really about where the Tolowa Dini Nation casino's at, are continue to be problematic for the community. You just have to look at skid marks on the highway.
Yeah, I'd like to see that expanded, clear to Wonder Stump Road, or, that would be the next one, Wonder Stump, and
Right.
there's a turn pocket at Kings Valley, and that works very well. It's a very short turn pocket, and it doesn't seem to be much of it.
Well, the response, and the reason I bring this up, and I don't necessarily want this commission to not look at it or continue to push advocacy for it, but the long and the short of the response from Caltrans was not justified at this point in time to do anything with those particular areas. And at least for the residents in Smith River that face what they feel is a roulette game, I don't know where we can go, but I do think that we need to continue looking at these areas, because right now I still visibly see near misses on that stretch of highway almost monthly. So we do need to pay attention to that.
Wasn't there some discussion about putting up a camera?
There was at the meeting.
So that was the response from Caltrans, was the cameras were put in place, that traffic engineers did their analysis.
Okay.
Based on the analysis, there was the conclusion that,
Got it.
based on the standards, that it wasn't warranted.
But you can definitely see the skid marks, a lot of them.
Yeah. For those that live up here.
Some of them are pretty bad, and some of them look like they involve trucks, so that's, just a matter of time. Maybe you get rolled over.
Again.
So was there some direction to me to do something? I need some clarity.
Well, so the response from, it's David Morgan, that correct? That's who the letter came in from. And I can't remember if I forwarded it to you or not, but I certainly would like the commission to at least put this issue on our agenda, whether it's a discussion item for the future, but I think we need to address it further than at least the response that we currently have received from Caltrans, that these turn pockets, for lack of a better term, aren't currently justified in some of these problem areas like Wilson Lane, Timber Lane, Morrison Creek, and if the board is so willing.
Okay, so I'll give a call to David Morgan and have a conversation with him about potential next interim steps to get more information.
That would be
perhaps.
terrific.
Okay.
Thank you. Heidi.
I don't really have anything to report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Just a
Okay.
little comment on that last was, you're seeing the skid marks on the road. That's completely discounting all the newer technology in our cars. They are skid. So
Right.
it probably is not taking into account all our near misses that are being seen there. But
Well, and people that are unfamiliar with the road too. I mean, that's when I've noticed, when I've been driving, now that I have 2 children in braces, so we're going to Brookings quite a bit. I don't drive to Smith River all the time, so I can't speak to it like you can. You, have a lot more experience. But what I have noticed, a lot of times those are out of state license plates that have been an issue. And so, those of us that are familiar with, I slow down, but that's what's so frustrating is people just simply don't realize what's coming up on them real quick.
At least on 199, our data demonstrates that it's actually our local people on 199. So I don't know if that's the case on 101, but I do know that that's the case on 199, is that it's our local people who do know the road, who are in a hurry, who overestimate their driving ability.
That's very nicely put. That's a good term there.
That find themselves in serious trouble. But again, I don't know if it's a case on 101. I don't know.
Overestimate your
Karen,
driving
anything
ability.
further?
Other than, this is my last meeting with the commission, so I've enjoyed my time here. Appreciated being on the board with you guys.
Right on. So thank you.
Thank you.
That is it.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
What about December?
I will not be elected.
Oh, that again.
It is my
Yeah.
turn to be on the ballot, and I have
Nominated, he
Yeah.
refuses to
As of
nominate.
today, that's it. It's done.
No, I just, I'll have to talk to, go back to council and ask them how that works, because there's a gap between the time that you're off and somebody else is appointed, and
It should be on the next
Yeah,
council
in
meeting.
2 weeks, we'll have
Like-
another meeting
Okay,
where, we'll have,
somebody will be appointed then.
somebody will be appointed
Okay.
by then. They won't have much back history and
So
knowledge of
today is
anything.
your
That's part of it.
official last day? Is
Yes.
today?
Oh, my goodness,
Yeah.
it is.
It's awesome.
I actually technically should stay in the seat until the 19th, but I am flying out this Saturday to go to Florida to be with my son and his wife as we have our first granddaughter.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I won't be here for that.
Party all around, a retirement party,
Yeah.
a new baby party.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. You made us smile. Alex, don't bring us down.
No, two things, I guess. First off, congratulations, Mr. Short, on your term of service and the time that you put in. This is, not the most public, exciting board. You don't get to make big speeches here, but it's, it's a humble board. Good for being a part of it. And secondly, I didn't get the letter that Chair Howard and Mr. Tucker were discussing. I'd like to see it, if it's supposed to be addressed to the full commission, and I'm very open to having this part of Highway 101 be a part of our discussion items, especially considering the troubling traffic concerns there are there. I don't go to Smith River often. I'm not aware of those either. As aware as I could be. So, bring it back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to echo Alex's comments about Darren. Thank you very much for your service. It's been good working with you, and good luck.
Thank you, Jerry.
And on the subject of, of the turn pockets and things like that, I think another advantage to having a turn pocket at Wonderstump would be that people would use 101 more instead of Wonderstump. If they could come in from the other side, I just think that's an advantage for that particular intersection. But, people kind of expect to be able to drive down the highway at 55 miles an hour when it's nice and straight like that, and don't really want to have to stop in the middle of a 55 mile an hour zone to wait for somebody to turn. I mean, it's just not expected. So even if you're overestimating your driving ability, good term, that can sneak up on you. So,
Right on.
okay, that was it for me.
Thank you. All right. The only thing that I'll add briefly is to let's make sure that we at least bring some of the comments that were made by the public back. If we could direct staff to kind of take a look at exploring those options with the TAC, emergency routes specific to tsunami out of the harbor, maybe revisit some of those pieces that she's referenced to us in emails. I'd like to bring that back to the commission at some point in time.
Okay. The TAC is having, if I could, just an informal update. The TAC is having conversations, and the conversations, I believe, are going to lead to a meeting with the landholders, the stakeholders, which are likely the city, the county, and the harbor, for the pedestrian evacuation time analysis prior study area. The city limits are, everything is all mixed up there with jurisdiction, but I believe that all three agencies will sit down and meet at a staff level and say, what are the next steps? What do we want to look at? How do we need to learn more? But I think that really it's going to need to really be the staff from all three groups. I may become a convener of that group, but at the end of the day, like most of our projects, it ends up falling onto a jurisdiction of the landholder in the area. So I will certainly initiate convening a meeting with those groups to get everybody to a table that doesn't sort of slip away. But I think that it's a complicated topic.
Yes.
That my opinion, after taking a second, third, fourth look at it, is that we should really start from a higher level to make sure that we're going in the right direction before we sink a lot of money into something that's not going to meet the purpose and need. And I'm concerned about some of the community recommendations that there aren't any indicators that would meet the purpose and need of our project or the community. So finding a solution that's that meets the purpose and need and also eventually is fundable is going to be a tricky endeavor, especially with all the wetlands right there.
Yep. Thank you, Tamara. Highly probable.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and then just echo the commission's sentiment specific to your retirement and going away. We appreciate your service, Darren. It's been a pleasure serving with you. All right, we're going to go ahead and take up the actions and recommendations of the Policy Advisory Committee. In doing so, let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Okay, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the
Move to approve and adopt.
Policy Advisory Committee. We have a motion on the table.
I'll second.
And a second. Please poll the vote.
Commissioner Fallman,
Yes.
Commissioner Keim? Yes. Commissioner Howard, or Chair Howard, excuse me,
Yes.
Commissioner Hemmingson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Short.
Yes.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.